Different ways of unpacking conscious living. Uh, One of the best things we can do is recognizing where we are at. One of the questions I got from my inner circle was, what are you talking about? It's like enslavement, conscious living connected to the higher source, and a balanced style of life. Unpack that a bit better. What we really have no clue what is it all about. And one of the best things what we can do is the Earth School is understanding where we are at. Uh, Whenever spiritual communities speak about enslavement and um, a prison planet and all of these things is a bit daunting at first because uh, even though it's accurate, we have this perception we are freedom and the democracy and all of these things, but enslavement is not a direct kind of an enslavement like in our history, like people in shackles and forced into labor force. It's nothing so visual that we can identify it directly, but it is spiritual enslavement, economic enslavement, mind, body, and spirit, disconnected position. This is all accurate. One of the ways we can elevate our circumstances or graduate our mind, body, spirit vessel is when we learn to see things as exactly they are. For a black sheep or uh, spiritually connected black sheeps, we don't really have a choice. We learn these things very early to identify. One of the examples, when we think we have a loving family, we can always rely on these support systems. It's really not accurate, but if you do happen to force into these circumstances, especially in your youth, one of the things that you can do to empower yourself is work towards some sort of goal to maintain your energy line without any interruptions. In order for you to do that, you have to recognize your own vibrational frequencies by understanding the external environment at the same time. So, this is how we tap into these understanding these external circumstances better. Now, staying connected to the source is something that we really have to do, but very gradually, very unsuspectingly, we get forced into someone is getting a hold of your mind, body, spirit vessel. How do you elaborate this a little bit better, a little bit more? To my understanding is when we are all of these things and the human species, we always go towards that thing, education. It's really important part of our social structure, which is true. But when you are not fully aware of yourself, we can get lost in these external programming system. Now, learning a skill, learning a trade, learning valuable lessons is a never waste. It's always really important for us to have some sort of skill levels in this modern system. Nothing wrong with that, but along the way, we learn so many other things that's maybe not enhancing our connection to the our source. Like for example, it's like having a whole lot of programs downloaded, but you're really disconnected from motherboard, so there is like there's nowhere to go from there. Even though you have a valuable programs, you're completely disconnected from the motherboard, so then it's prevent everything. It's there's no going forward there because you're disconnected. So us being connected to our higher self and the source God uh, is the most important thing. Learning skills while you're staying connected really helps us to navigate our life sort of in a grounded circumstances. Now, if you're going to further unpack these 3D system, enslavement system is, um, for example, what's happening in our social structure. We have all the specialists working, the economic specialists where still billions of dollars nowhere to be found, or they're finding it. It's unnecessary things. It's like when you have your home, but you're paying attention to a whole lot more your other homes in the neighborhood, but you have nothing to show for in your own home. It's like basic understanding, basic common sense. It's a basic rules of existence is completely ignored. So then we're into so much fictional fictional external disconnected state. We don't really even know how to come back. So this is what we're facing, and this is what staying connected really means, because everything is have to be balanced. Mind you, economic system is something that really external to us. It is done in a factory. We put a value to it. We call it a currency, which is fine. It's all right, but it's like we can't ignore everything about a human existence and prioritize this system. It's just a tool. Everything in the external system is tools for us to use it and elevate and create a time and space, and at least understand where we're at. When we talk about we are being imprisoned and we're slave system, this is what we're talking about. We really have to understand what we're working with. And for example, if we good manners is something really important. But what is exactly good manners is mean like you say hello, you greetings, you wear beautiful clothes, you got a good table manners. Sure, all of these things are very sweet things. Like romance, it's always the dim lights and the candles. This is what remind you us about romance, but it's like it is so much more because the visibility is very poor, so therefore it appears beautiful and mysterious and uh, appealing, but you don't get to see things very clearly. This is how the systems are when we are shadowing ourselves with uh, completely dishonest pleasantries like saying hello and greetings and all of these things, but it's consuming time. But what happens if somebody really want to explain or express how they really feel, where they're at, and how to have a conversation, but because good manners, we gave them that opportunity, but we really don't have a best of intention. We're doing it is because it's a normal existence. We just say things. There's really no meaning behind it. But in a spiritual sense, really good manners is having a conversation where you can be transformed. The lighting is a little bit stronger, so you can have a little bit more visibility as to where we're going through. And even though you wear beautiful clothes and you're trying to suck the life out of other external energy systems, because this is the business model, so they're really superficial, they're not sincere. It is time consuming. The other thing to unpack, we're extremely busy speaking about the worst circumstances everywhere in the world, but at this point we have to have that awareness. We are speaking about this for the longest time in our life, but there's no solution. But what we really have to know is that there's a purpose why they are perpetuating this kind of communication and discussing these social matters. They want to have your attention, they want to have your sympathy, empathy, and shock factor. So they're gaining something from you. Giving attention to these things. But what we really have to shift focus and have these discussions: who is benefiting from this? Why is it so much misery? And who is making money off of this thing? Who is really benefiting? This is what we really want to unpack. This is what the enslavement is all about. For other very one of these prominent people, I heard somewhere, like, they don't even want to throw these little garbage things into the garbage bin. They have to call for help, or call for butler or something like that. I think at first everyone probably joined these kind of circumstances very happily, because we're connected to these individuals, where this is our employment, so we're really happy to be there doing that. But when you do that for enough time, what you're really thinking is that, what kind of weird a disconnected alien are you? What are you? How come you're so pathetic? You can't even aim something into the garbage bin. You not say that. You go through this with a smile, but you're thinking that. So what we really have to understand is, these entities now, they have to rely on your resentment, anger, even internally, energetically, is there. So they feed off of that. They're like a bottom feeders, but the social structure designed to glorify these entities. This is one of the ways we look at things in a different perspective. This is how we unpack how connected are we, because although we elsewhere in the world there are a lot of poverty, there's a lot of misery there. What we pay enormous level of attention to these circumstances. If we don't do anything, at least we put them on a same channel for like year after year, the same thing, how much misery out there. Yet never resolve them, but they are feeding off of your empathy, your compassion, and um, you're needing to help out because of your empathy, compassion. So we have to navigate life understanding these parasitic entities. They are the business model is the same thing. The people are really nice. We don't want to always say the horrible things about everyone, but when it comes to business model, we always hit towards a brick wall. There's proceedings that we can do, like for these injections, these things that we have to take. I didn't, but they were like, oh yeah, we understand, we're sorry, but this is a protocol, we have to do these things. It doesn't matter how understanding, compassionate individual you are, you're hitting a brick wall, and you can't, it seems like you don't have options, but we do. we just didn't come to terms with the fact of all the mind, body, spirit, vessel, and you are the in charge of that. When without your knowledge, without your suspecting, when external entities get a hold of your mind, body, vessel, there are very deep, dire consequences because we haven't stayed connected to the source God. This is how we didn't realize that untapped potential, because we really didn't come into this world a blank slate that somebody can program. It's always there internal, but before you realize these energetic, the power of your energetic vessel, somebody programmed you to feel, do, otherwise indifferent to what you are. This is how we stay connected. Now, how do you even prove there's a level of connections, this is the right path? But I know for sure there are a couple of shows that I used to watch over the years. This is color. I add color to my eyes, something different. This is how we do things for fun. It is possible to be spiritual and connected and all of these things and have a little bit of enjoyment or entertainment is possible. So these shows, you couldn't wait for the next episode, but last few years you're connecting it differently. It's more like a chore now. You still continue to do so, but it's a chore. You just wait for a week before you watch the episode. There's no enthusiasm, is not there, because we begin to see things as exactly they are. This is where we are. This is how we realize these connected state of mind. Now, even on the television, we see the people who are speaking. They're charming, they're beautiful once you're willing to give your time and energy. But lately you see them as exactly they are, what they are: mechanical, parasitic, poisonous. That they radiate some sort of energy that is toxic to you. Their skin's burning, your flashes getting hard. These are like how you see things differently because your connection become really strong and more prominent. That's how you notice, and these things appear. Now you know exactly what is not helping you to elevate, helping you to recognize your state, the external structure of humanity. Then you realize what is there to hold on to. There's some things to let go, but nevertheless, you are discovering your own potential. You know that is enslavement system. You know that something there is to use them as a tools, but it's never there to get stuck and indefinitely and perpetuate this level of toxicity. And the same thing in the poor health, ill health, and the healthcare model is the same thing. At some point, we love to help out. We love to look after the sick individuals, and it's something very rewarding, but it's for a while. It's not something that you have to be indefinitely. In that case, somebody else have to make a commitment for you to look after you. But we're human beings. We don't put them in a garbage bin because the care needed. But we really have to understand that when we don't work on small things, it become big things, because things happen in your mind and it become physical, and physical breakdown in that order. But we know from our personal experience, once when you're working, you're really struggling, your body's breaking down in front of you day after day. But when you are disconnected from that, you're taking time to heal. There's so many different elements that go wrong with you, mind, body, spirit. You could heal them. So by example, you have the power to heal yourself. And unless it's an extreme circumstance, there is something, the external factor says we're going to build 100 different hospitals, we're going to dedicate 5 billion. No, the real question what you got to ask is, why do people have to become sick and ill indefinitely? We have to heal. How many people we're going to heal? If somebody says we're going to dedicate a system that we're going to heal 1 million people a year, now that's something you can get your attention, but we don't hear that from the external factors because the business model is a sick care. This is how they feed off of your energy. Now this is a conscious living, and this is how we navigate information that is external to you and staying intact and empowered by analyzing information and how you navigate life, because the current system, the light bulbs, the wiring system, they are never burdened, they're never abused, they're never sabotaged, they are direct connection, they are protected and sealed. Our energetic mind body vessel is the same thing. We are directly connected to the source, and we are created by source God, and staying that level of connection, wholesome, we navigate life so much better. Enslavement is possible because of our ignorance. Once we realize where we're at, this is the half of the battle. You already won, because you don't get influenced by external factors. That is not our friend. That is not there to support you in any way. They are just tools for you to create that time and space for yourself so that you can navigate life so much a wholesome manner. And this is the end game for the greater awakening. This is what we're talking about, staying connected to the source.